friends. Today's video is going to be kind of a rant, kind of a makeup related video, and also today's video is going to be a lot. Mainly because what time is it? It's 11:44 at night. 11:44. I've been trying to cool down, literally, not metaphorically, but we're just gonna we're gonna tough it out, okay? Because I've been wanting to film this video for literally a week and a half, and I haven't gotten a chance to. So we're gonna do it right now. All right, I got a nice cold drink. It's got ice in it. Oh, I don't have shoes on, I don't have socks on. Today we're gonna talk a little bit about makeup brands getting political. Okay? Cool, right? This isn't inviting trolls in. Not at all. A little backstory, I used to work for Lush Cosmetics. I worked for Lush for almost 3 years as a sales associate, sales ambassador in one of the stores. And if you've ever worked for Lush, or if you've ever been an avid shopper of Lush, you would know that Lush kind of doesn't give a fuck about voicing their opinion about things that can be controversial and or political, or both. And it's one of the things that I appreciate about the brand. Like, one of the things I loved about working for Lush was that I could feel good about their ethics, and I could feel good about the things that they stood for because they didn't shut up about it. And it was easier to sell things coming from a brand that I actually aligned with morally and ethically and politically, you know what I mean? And Lush recently put out a statement via their Instagram. I will pop it right up here. It was regarding the actions taking place on the southern border of the United States with our government separating children from their parents after crossing the border. And it's horrible, and it's terrifying, and it's horrifying. And Lush posted something about it, and I saw a handful of comments on Instagram, which probably not the best example because Instagram is kind of a cesspool for like negative comments anyway, but I saw some comments from people that brought up an idea. People were saying stuff like, oh, I really like your brand, I'm just here for the bath bombs, I don't care for the politics. I don't want to hear the politics, I just want to talk about the products, I'm just here because I like the products. Basically telling Lush, shut the fuck up about politics and talk about beauty products, you know what I mean? And it sparked me as like, are you surprised that Lush is getting political? Like, are you surprised that Lush is posting something that is like a polarizing? Like, it's nothing new. Like, besides like cruelty-free being like one of their biggest things, and things being like handmade and from like ethically sourced places, like ethically sourced ingredients, that's just like the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Lush's political campaigns and their ethical campaigns. They are often very outspoken when it comes to LGBTQ rights, and specifically trans rights and gay marriage and human rights, and animal testing is one of the big things, and shark finning and stuff that is maybe not necessarily directly related to beauty products. Like, cruelty-free and like animal rights is probably the only thing that can be like very directly related to the products that they put out. You know, like, don't test on animals, they don't work with anybody that tests on animals, they have very vigorous processes in getting sources. So like, they'll go to a potential source of an ingredient, and that source has to go through all this paperwork, and if they work with anybody tests on animals, Lush does not work with them. So Lush has been very, very diligent in that process. Like I said, it's always been something that I really appreciated, them being really transparent about, and them being just like, fuck it, I don't care if it pisses people off, because it's a family-owned company, and it's always been a family-owned company. Like, you know who Mark Constantine is. He's the guy that puts out a fake product to mock the CEO of Amazon UK because they wouldn't take down products that were marketed as Lush products when they weren't actually Lush products. Hence, Christopher North. Fucking, I love Mark Constantine so much. And there's other brands that have done this. Like, Illamasqua has been very outspoken, especially right now, which is kind of why I wanted to talk about it, because I think in this day and age, you know, where like political unrest is kind of like the status quo. Nobody's happy, ever. And especially right now with the current state of United States affairs, and even in the UK with stuff like Brexit, people are pissed off, and people are making decisions in power that make other people angry. And I don't know if I'm in the minority, but I feel like, especially after Kat Von D spoke out about being anti-vax, a lot of people dropped her brand from their from their channels. A lot of people like myself have stopped purchasing from her. A lot of people have decluttered a lot of her products because it just makes them feel uneasy and it makes them feel icky about promoting the product on the channel. And that's something that is kind of a political statement inherently. Like, what she made was a political statement, and what people are doing as an effect to that is also a political statement. Besides Lush and Kat Von D in more of the negative way, Lush more in the positive way. I took some screenshots. Illamasqua took a stand against fascism last year by making people take an anti-fascist pledge before buying their products in defiance of Trump. Like, that's fucking bold. That is potentially losing a lot of customers because either people are either fans of him or they don't want to hear about it and they don't give a shit. That takes a lot of chutzpah. Like, I appreciate that. I'm like, wow, Illamasqua, like, that stance is something that could potentially hurt your profits, and the fact that they stood up for what they believed in was awesome. I found a statistic from, I will post links to all these articles below. 91% of millennials say they would switch brands to one associated with a cause. Study in 2015, but I can imagine it's probably around the same now. And then in 2014, there was the Global Strategy Group found a survey, well, released a survey. They found that 56% of Americans, just Americans across the board, believed corporations should stand up for what they believe in. And in the day and age when, like, corporations are treated as people, they're given civil rights like people, I want them to voice their opinions as if they were people. I don't know. I like knowing the ethics of people I buy products from. I feel like it makes me a smarter consumer when I know the ethics of the company and when I know the ethics of the person who owns the company. Like, I feel very uneasy purchasing from The Ordinary now because of all the shit that the CEO of Decium, all that stuff that he did. I'm like, what? Dude went off the rails. And I feel like now, especially because people tend to be smarter consumers, they tend to look into things more, and people are taking a stand with things like being cruelty-free and things like vegan products and things like brands that are not owned by larger corporations, like indie brands. Indie brands are bigger than they have ever been. And I feel like with indie brands, it's a lot easier to know the ethics behind a company because it's smaller. And it's like, you see those people on social media, you see what they post, cool, I like that person. I'm much more inclined to buy a product from that person because they align with what I believe in. For me, I don't know about for you guys, but let me know in the comments, like let's start a discussion here. For me, as somebody who pays attention a lot to what's happening in the news, and for somebody who likes to consider myself quite political and politically motivated when it comes to, like, purchasing things, do you like it when brands take a stand on things like that? If a brand has a product that I like and I use it, and then I find out things about the company or I find out things about the owner that I'm like, I really don't want to give them my money. Like, I really don't want to give them my money. I will stop purchasing from that brand. I will not necessarily throw everything away from that brand because I don't like wasting products, but I won't spend any more of my money. And on the flip side, a brand that I don't really use yet, haven't gotten a chance to actually try, if the person that fronts that brand, if even on the brand's Instagram, they say something that I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. Like, I agree with that. Like, I support that. I appreciate that. I respect the fuck out of that. I will be much more inclined to spend my money there. I want to vote with my dollar. Kind of on a similar vein, department stores have taken a stand against things like this. When Nordstrom dropped Ivanka Trump's entire clothing line from their stores, that was a political statement. That was a political move. When Nordstrom was like, we don't want to support this family, we're gonna take the products out of our store. Whether or not people want to think that that's a politically motivated statement, it's making a statement. It's a political decision. Nordstrom is like, this doesn't align with us. Fuck it. Fuck them. Fuck the Trumps. And so they did. And while I don't necessarily shop from Nordstrom all that much because it's really expensive, when I saw that, I was like, good job, Nordstrom. It's simple things like that, it can make a difference. Sway people into supporting a brand or not supporting a brand. And I think in this year, this day and age, this political climate, if you stay quiet about something, it starts to look fishy, you know? If you're quiet, you're complicit. You're not doing anything unless you're speaking out. It's something that seeps into the influencers as well. It's not only the brands, but it's the influencers that support the brands. And I realize that there's a lot of influencers that this is their job and that this is like how they make money. I think that a conscience speaks volumes right now. Thomas Halbert did a video recently talking about all the brands. He did like a full face of brands that hate him, mainly as like brands that have taken him off the PR list for one reason or another. Whether it was just like giving them a bad review or brands that he has spoken out about because of shitty and shady things that they've done. And it's that kind of honesty and it's that kind of frankness and that kind of like moral compass that makes me respect an influencer and a brand far more. And I think that it's something that a lot of you guys agree with, because a lot of you suggested that I make this video. Like when I posted it on the community tab, everybody was like, yes, make this video, like speak your truth. And I think that it's something that a lot more people are in tune with now than maybe they were 5 years ago, because of people like Donald Trump and stuff like Brexit and like Putin and stuff. So I hope this was coherent. I hope this made sense. I don't really know if it did or not, but my brain is not working. I will post links to stories below, specifically about the Illamasqua thing and about Lush stuff. Honestly, are people fucking surprised that Lush gets political? It's like it's Lush. Today's song of the day is Marching Orders by Editors. It is an awesome song from several years ago, but I only saw it live for the first time a couple of months ago when they played at Numos. It's such a good song. I love them. They're amazing. Check out my Patreon if you haven't already. That would be very much appreciated. I really hope it starts to fucking cool down because I am so sick of this heat. I'm going crazy. My Sasquatch video is in the works, pieced together. I have to clean it up and get the voiceover recorded and stuff, but it's in a form, not its final form, but it's in a form. So hopefully that will be there here and then within the next several days. So thank you for sticking with me and thank you for being patient with me because I am terrible. Please subscribe to this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. That would be awesome. Sound off in the comments below and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!